Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and dreams of a settlement between the SEC and Ripple effectively at this point have been shattered. But, there's a fine but, it might just be for now. It's fully possible that we could see this thing fully adjudicated in the court of law, but there's an opportunity, I'll cite why, moving forward, that we actually could still see a settlement, but it's not going to, in all likelihood, be anytime soon, if indeed it does happen. And so if this thing really makes it all the way through the legal system, we will have a final determination legally on whether or not XRP is or is not a security. And so there are all sorts of articles, everybody's been talking about this over the last day or so, and so here's a headline from Crypto Newsflash: Ripple Labs and SEC rule out settlement at this time. And this article highlighted all sorts of information from a video put out by Jeremy Hogan, who is an attorney who's been I'll tell you what, I couldn't be more appreciative. He has really been doing a service to the XRP community because, the vast majority of us are out there that are XRP holders, very concerned about what's happening with the SEC versus Ripple, but we do not have any sort of legal background. And so, even if we read court documents and, the claims from the SEC versus Ripple and Ripple's response, we can only glean so much from it. There's so much legal speak, we don't know what the implications are. And so when somebody like Jeremy Hogan comes out and shares his opinion, it really helps clear things up here. And so I'm always going to use my platform here to prop up those that are contributing in a meaningful way to the XRP community, and Jeremy Hogan absolutely is. And so I encourage all of you to check out his YouTube channel. It's called Legal Briefs. Just type that up in the YouTube search bar. It will pop right on up. And he's been putting out a fair bit of content lately about everything happening with the SEC versus Ripple, all the developments occurring as a result. And so I took some notes that I want to share with you in this video. I'm going to share with you my non-professional opinion, because I don't have a legal background of any kind, but I'm going to share with you my thoughts on this as we go through these points here. I'm still fully optimistic, mind you. I also do want to be clear that I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast. I'm an XRP holder. I make YouTube videos purely as a hobby. That is indeed all that it is. And so, look, first of all, it doesn't look likely that there's actually going to be a jury trial. Rather, there will be, in all likelihood, a summary judgment for Ripple. And ultimately what that means is that you're going to have the judge determine the outcome of this case and make the determination from a legal perspective of whether or not XRP actually is a security. Now, the last date for discovery for this case, mind you, is August 16th, 2021. After that, the discovery phase is over. And so discovery, for those of you unaware, it's basically just the period of time when both sides, so the SEC and Ripple, they share with each other the evidence that they're going to be bringing to trial. Now, Jeremy expects Ripple to file a motion for summary judgment. So there could still be a jury trial, but he expects that they'll be requesting a summary judgment instead, so the judge decides ultimately how this goes down. And he thinks that's likely to occur in September. Now, technically, it could occur anytime after August 16th of this year, but he thinks it's more likely that it wouldn't occur until September. And this would be, again, a request for the judge herself to make the determination of whether or not XRP is a security. And so Jeremy expects that motion for summary judgment would be heard in October. So that's when the fireworks go off. That's going to be, so once it's all said and done, we'll have the date, so we'll know when to expect news more or less. And whatever that date ends up being, likely in October, that will be the date when, if we get positive news, it would be really interesting to see what happens with XRP if it actually has legal clarity on that date. So who knows? Now, on the flip side, if it doesn't go the way, like if we get some bad law as a result of this, yikes. But I still remain optimistic because I think that even the SEC knows that their argument's weak, as evidenced, in my opinion, that, and it's based on what I've gathered from all sorts of lawyers, including Jeremy Hogan, frankly, but I've been following several lawyers, actually, and getting their opinions. But it's just the fact that the SEC has not requested a declaratory judgment, having to have XRP legally be declared a security. Where on the flip side, you can tell how confident Ripple is, because they are absolutely demanding that, and so it's going to happen as a result. Now, the judge requested a description of the case and factual legal basis for claims and defenses, so both the SEC and Ripple had to respond to this. And Jeremy was surprised that the SEC didn't provide a lot of facts. They simply stated that Ripple sold XRP as an investment contract, which is, it's at the heart of the case, but didn't provide facts on why they believe that to be the case. And mind you, this is the first opportunity for the SEC to lay forth their case to the judge here, and they didn't include anything additional. They made a claim, and then, frankly, didn't back it up. They simply stated that Ripple sold XRP as an investment contract, and they had more facts in their initial complaint, frankly, than they did in this initial document going to the judge, which is interesting. And so this is basically a weak first impression, as Jeremy Hogan put it. But they did address and dispute Ripple calling XRP a currency. And check, this is really interesting. They dispute Ripple calling XRP a currency. Now, this is a weak argument, considering that what is at the core of this case is whether or not XRP is indeed an investment contract. A security is a security no matter what you call it. So getting hung up on the word currency makes no sense for the SEC. And I'm going to circle around back to this very shortly because it gets even more ridiculous. The fact that they are, frankly, bitching up a storm about, and they go on for paragraphs, about Ripple stating that XRP is a currency. Just sit tight on that one. I promise I'll get back to it. But Ripple lays out their defense too, right? And so to the judge, and for the first time, and Jeremy was impressed, frankly. Ripple's attorney cited that XRP is like Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are two digital currencies that the SEC has declared to not be a security, and stated that XRP, as a result, cannot be an investment contract. Ripple states the evidence will show that XRP was only sold as an asset with no promise of future services or profits. Ripple points out that they sold XRP, but that it was then sold downstream, and that someone then selling XRP to a retail investor could in no way be an investment contract, as Ripple didn't even participate in the transaction. So think about that. How can you have a contract with Ripple when the XRP you're holding could have been sold to another 100 individuals before it even reached you? How could that possibly represent a contract, right? To me, that doesn't make logical sense, but apparently the SEC is going to try and make that case, even though, again, Ripple's not participating in that transaction, so okay. Now, Ripple also notes in response to the SEC's focus, noting that Ripple stated XRP as a currency. This is the I'm circling back now. I love this. So Ripple addressed this point that the SEC made, because they're disputing that XRP is a currency. And so Ripple points out that it was actually the Department of Justice and FinCEN that declared XRP to be a security in 2015. Which I got a kick out of, because, and I already knew that to be the case, But it's just fun to see all of this, because it's just absurd on its face. How do you think the judge is going to perceive that? Well, the DOJ and FinCEN said it is, and Ripple's just going by what they said. But here the SEC is saying Ripple should not be calling it a currency because it's an investment contract. Whoa, it's crazy stuff here. And so Jeremy says it destroys half of what the SEC stated in this initial letter to the judge. And so then, on the prospect for settlement, so this was written in the document here. Counsel for the parties have met and conferred, and, having previously discussed settlement, do not believe there is a prospect for settlement at this time. However, the parties will promptly notify the court if any settlement, in principle, is reached as to any defendant. Defendants agree with the statement, but note that previous settlement discussions took place under a previous administration and were principally with relevant division directors who have since left the SEC. And so as a result of that, that's kind of a key statement there. Where's this? I think, sorry, 1 second here, I'm looking through. I think that was, so defendants agree with the statement. Note that, so that's the key part, really, I think. Note that the previous settlement discussions took place under a previous administration and were principally with the relevant division directors who have since left the SEC. And so, really, ultimately, Jeremy says that the best time to get this case settled is when Gary Gensler is ultimately approved as the SEC chairman, assuming that's going to happen, and it seems likely. I don't seem to see a lot of people thinking that's not going to happen. And so, really, it just seems to this point that the current SEC directors are holding up the settlement for now. But I was thinking back to something that Jeremy Hogan said in a previous video, not the most recent one, but he really just can't imagine that Gary Gensler is going to come in, and he's going to want to be the guy that makes sure, and let's say it's not guaranteed. Even if he pushes for this, doesn't mean it would happen. But let's say he were able to push this through, and XRP is ultimately declared to be a security. Do you think he wants to be the guy that tears down one of the most important cryptocurrency companies, like in the industry, which happens to also be in the United States, and force them to go to like Japan or some other country, which is ultimately probably what would happen, just because he insists that XRP is a security? It's just. That's why I still wonder. That's why I wanted to say, like, yeah, for now, dreams shattered of a settlement for now, but in the future, it doesn't mean that that there wouldn't be something special. You just got to wait, because it could be, X number, I don't know, be May or June. I don't know when Gary Gensler will get in, but it should be before that September portion of this whole process where, what did I say? Did I say December? September. Maybe I said September. For some reason, I was thinking I said December. Whatever. But it should occur before September, which is when Ripple is expected, says Jeremy, to request a summary judgment here. So, assuming that all happens, you could see, because look, this is going to be a pressing matter, obviously, as soon as he gets in. You could see a world where perhaps he does come in and some sort of deal can be struck, but with the acting chair, what's her name, Allison Lee, I believe it is, it's crystal clear nothing's going to happen with this setup. So we're really just going to have to sit tight and wait. But you know what? That's just the way the cookie crumbles. So we shall see. But in the end, ultimately, again, there's no way to know exactly how this is going to pan out, but I still remain optimistic, because I do believe that Ripple's on the right side of law, even if they end up caving and paying some sort of fee just to get this behind them, some sort of settlement penalty, fine. But Ripple's not going to settle if they're not allowed to sell XRP, and if XRP is going to be deemed a security. So if there's ever a settlement, the moment I see that headline, I will be doing my happy dance, even before I find out all the details. So there we go. There's the latest. This is where we're at right now. But sit tight. There's going to be a lot more coming in the weeks and months ahead. So that's just where we are now. It's not fun, and it is stupid for so many reasons. But man, I can't imagine. It's hard to believe, isn't it? I mean, fine, yeah, the worst could happen, but I find it hard to believe that something that's so nonsensical could end up, shaking out in such a way that the rest of the world gets to interact with XRP, but not the United States, because every other country in the world does not have the stance of the SEC. There are so many other countries that have actually been forward enough to state that XRP today is not a security, period, full stop, right? But anyway, I will go ahead and wrap up there. Thank you very much for stopping by. And again, go ahead and check out Jeremy's channel, Legal Briefs. I shared a ton of his opinions in this video. Anything from a legal perspective, it's not my own original thought, and I never want to pretend like it is. I want to give credit where it's due. And like I said earlier, I want to prop up those individuals that are supportive of the XRP community, and Jeremy Hogan most certainly is. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.